War, Greater Britain by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Greg Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Our hearts were not set on fighting. We did not pant for the fray. And whatever wrongs need righting, we would not have met that way. But the way that is opened before us leads on through a blood-red field, and we swear by the great God o'er us, we will die, but we will not yield. The battle is not of our making, and war was never our plan. Yet all that is sweet forsaking, we march to it, man by man. It is either to smite or be smitten. There's no other choice today. And we live as befits the Briton, or we die as the Briton may. We were not fashioned for cages, or to feed from a keeper's hand. Our strength, which has grown through ages, is the strength of a slave-free land. We cannot kneel down to a master. To our God alone can we pray. And we stand in this world disaster to fight like a lion at bay. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Belgium by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Iswa in Belgium in March 2015. Ruined? Destroyed? No. Though blood in rivers ran down all her ancient streets, though treasures manifold, love wrought, time mellowed, and beyond the price of gold, are lost, yet Belgium's star shines still in God's vast plan. Rarely have kings been great since kingdoms first began. Rarely have great kings been great men, when all was told. But by the lighted torch in mailed hands, behold, immortal Belgium's immortal king and man. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Knitting by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Christine G. At the concert and the play, everywhere you see them sitting, knitting, knitting, women who the other day thought of nothing but their frocks, or their jewels, or their locks, women who have lived for pleasure, who have known no work but leisure, now are knitting, knitting, knitting for the soldiers over there. On the trains and on the ship, with the diligence befitting, they are knitting. Some with smiles upon their lips, some with manners debonair, some with earnest look and air, but each heart in its own fashion weaves in pity and compassion, in their knitting, 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 for the soldiers over there. Hurried women to and fro, from their homes to labour flitting, knitting, knitting, busy-handed come and go, broken bits of time they spare, just to feel they do their share, just to keep life's sense of beauty in the doing of a duty, they are knitting, 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 for the soldiers over there. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Mobilization by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Kay Hand. Oh, the kings of earth have mobilized their men. See them moving, valor proving, to the fields of glory going, banners flowing, bugles blowing, every one a mother's son, brave with uniform and gun, keeping step with easy swing, yes, with easy step and light marching onward to the fight, just to please the warlike fancy of a king, who has mobilized his army for the strife. Oh, the king of death has mobilized his men. See the hearses huge and black, how they rumble down the track, with their coffins filled with dead, filled with men who fought and bled. Now from fields of glory coming, to the sound of muffled drumming, they are lying still and white. But the kings have had their fight. Death has mobilized his army for the grave. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Neutral by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Kay Hand. That pale word neutral sits becomingly on lips of weaklings. But the men whose brains find fuel in their blood, the men whose minds hold sympathetic converse with their hearts, such men are never neutral. That word stands unsexed and impotent in realms of speech. When mighty problems face a startled world, no virile man is neutral. Right or wrong, his thoughts go forth, assertive, unafraid, to stand by his convictions and to do their part in shaping issues to an end. Silence may guard the door of useless words, at dictate of discretion, but to stand without opinions in a world which needs constructive thinking is a coward's part. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Book for the King by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Christine G. A book has been made for the king, a book of beauty and art. To the good king's eyes a smile shall rise, hiding the ache in his heart, hiding the hurt and the grief, as he turns it leaf by leaf. A book has been made for the king, a book of blood and of blight. To the great king's eyes a look shall rise, that will blast and wither and smite, yes, smite with the just God's rage, as he turns it page by page. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Man-Made Gods by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Mickey. Said the Kaiser's God to the God of the Tsar, Hark, hark how my people pray. Their faith, methinks, is greater by far than all the faiths of the others are. They know I will help them slay. Said the God of the Tsar, my people call in a medley of tongues. They know I will lend my strength to them one and all. Wherever they fight, their foes shall fall like grass where the mowers go. Then the God of the Gauls spoke out of a cloud to the God of the king nearby. Our people pray, though they pray not loud. They ask for courage to slaughter a crowd, and to laugh though themselves may die. And far out, into the heart of space, where a lonely pathway crept up over the stars, to a secret place, where no light shone but the light of his face, Christ covered his eyes and wept. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Ghosts by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira Searle. There was no wind, and yet the air seemed suddenly astir. There were no forms, and yet all space seemed thronged with growing hosts. They came from where, and from nowhere, like phantoms as they were. They came from many a land and place, the ghosts, the ghosts, the ghosts. And some were white, and some were grey, and some were red as blood, those ghosts of men who met their death upon the field of war. Against the skies of fading day, like banks of cloud they stood, and each wraith asked another wraith, what were we fighting for? One said, I was my mother's all, and she was old and blind. Another, back on earth my wife and weak old baby lie. Another, at the bugle's call I left my bride behind. Love made so beautiful my life, I could not bear to die. In voices like the winds that moan among pine trees at night, they whispered long, the newly dead, while listening stars came out. We wonder if the cause is known, and if the war is right, that killed us in our prime, they said, and what it was about. They came in throngs that filled all space, those whispering phantom hosts. They came from many a land and place, the ghosts, the ghosts, the ghosts. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Poet's Theme by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Kay Hand. Why should the poet of these pregnant times be asked to sing of war's unholy crimes? Too loud and eulogize the trade which thrives on horrid holocausts of human lives? Man was a fighting beast when earth was young, and war the only theme when Homer sung. 'Twixt might and might the equal contest lay, not so the battles of our modern day. Too often now the conquering hero struts a Gulliver among the Lilliputs. Success no longer rests on skill or fate, but on the movement of a syndicate. Of old, men fought and deemed it right and just. Today the warrior fights because he must, and in his secret soul feels shame because he desecrates the higher manhood's laws. Oh, there are worthier themes for poet's pen in this great hour than bloody deeds of men. The rights of many, not the worth of one, the coming issues, not the battle done, the awful opulence and awful need, the rise of brotherhood, the fall of greed. The soul of man replete with God's own force, the call to heights and not the cry to horse. Are there not better themes in this great age, for pen of poet or for voice of sage, than those old tales of killing? Song is dumb, only that greater song in time may come. When comes the bard, he whom the world waits for, he will not sing of war. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Europe by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Kay Hand. Little lads and grandsires, women old with care, but all the men are dying men or dead men over there. No one stops to dig graves, who has time to spare? The dead men, how the dead men stare. Kings are out a-hunting, oh, the sport is rare, with dying men and dead men falling everywhere. Life for lads and grandsires, spoils for kings to share, and dead men, dead men, dead men everywhere. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
After. Poems of Optimism by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Kita 2015. Over the din of battle, over the cannon's rattle, over the strident voices of men, their dying groans, I hear the falling of thrones. Out of the wild disorder that spreads from border to border, I see a new world rising from ashes of ancient towns, and the rulers wear no crowns. Over the blood-charged water, over the fields of slaughter, down to the hidden vaults of time, where lie the worn-out things, I see the passing of kings. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. For more information, please visit www.LibriVox.org.
The Peace Angel by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Christine G. Angel of peace, the hounds of war unleashed are all abroad, and war's foul trade again is made man's leading aim in life. Blood dyes the billow and the sod, the very winds are rife with tales of slaughter. Angel, pray, what can we do, or think, or say, in times like these? Child, think of God. before this little specked space called earth with light was shod. Great chains of ties of splendid spheres were fashioned by his hand. Be thine the part to love and laud, nor seek to understand. Go lift thine eyes from death-charged guns to One who made 1,000,000,000 suns, and trust and wait, child, dwell on God. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Peace Should Not Come by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Mary Ann Weathers. March 27th, 2015. Peace should not come along this foul earth way. Peace should not come until we cleanse the path. God waited for us. Now in awful wrath he pours the blood of men out day by day to purify the high road for her feet. Why, what would peace do in a world where hearts are filled with thoughts like poison-pointed darts? It were not meet, surely it were not meet for peace to come, and with her white robes hide these industries of death, these guns and swords, these uniformed, hate-filled, destructive hordes, these hideous things that are each nation's pride. So long as men believe in armed might, let arms be brandished. Let not peace be sought until the race heart empties out all thought of blows and blood as arguments for right. The world has never had enough of war, else war were not. Now let the monster stand until he slays himself with his own hand, though no man knows what he is fighting for. Then, in the place where wicked cannons stood, let peace erect her shrine of brotherhood. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Winds of Fate by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Christine G. One ship drives east, and another drives west, with the self-same winds that blow. 'Tis the set of the sails, and not the gales, that tell them the way to go. Like the winds of the sea are the winds of fate, as we voyage along through life. 'Tis the set of the soul that decides its goal, and not the calm or the strife. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Beauty by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Christine G. The search for beauty is the search for God, who is all beauty. He who seeks shall find. And all along the path my feet have trod, I have sought hungrily with heart and mind, and open eyes for beauty everywhere. Lo! I have found the world is very fair. The search for beauty is the search for God. Beauty was first revealed to me by stars, before I saw it in my mother's eyes. Or seeing, sensed it beauty, I was stirred to awe and wonder by those orbs of light. All palpitant against the marbled skies, they spoke a language to my childish heart, of mystery and splendor and of space, friendly with gracious, unseen presences. Beauty was first revealed to me by stars. Sunsets enlarged the meaning of the word. There was a window looking to the west, beyond it wide Wisconsin field of grain, and then a hill whereon white flocks of clouds would gather in the afternoon to rest. And when the sun went down behind that hill, what scenes of glory spread before my sight! What beauty, beauty absolute, supreme! Sunsets enlarged the meaning of that word. Clover in blossom, red and honey sweet, in summer billowed like a crimson sea. Across the meadow lands one day I stood, breast high amidst its waves, and heard the hum of myriad bees that had gone mad like me. With fragrance and with beauty over us a loving sun smiled from a cloudless sky, while a bold breeze kissed lightly as it passed. Clover in blossom, red and honey sweet. Autumn spoke loudly of the beautiful, and in the gallery of nature hung colossal pictures hard against the sky, set forests gorgeous with 100 hues, and with each morning some new wonder flung before the startled word, some daring shade, some strange new scheme of color and of form. Autumn spoke loudly of the beautiful. Winter the rude is delicate in art, more delicate than summer or than fall. even as rugged man is more refined in vital things than woman. Winter's touch on nature seemed most beautiful of all, that evanescent beauty of the frost on window panes, of clean fresh fallen snow, of white sunlight on the ice-draped trees. Winter, though rude, is delicate in art. Morning, the word itself is beautiful, and the young hours have many gifts to give, that feed the soul with beauty. He who keeps his day for labor and his nights for sleep, wakes conscious of the joy it is to live, and brings from that mysterious land of dreams a sense of beauty that illuminates earth. Morning, the word itself is beautiful. The search for beauty is the search for God. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Invisible Helpers by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Roxanne Weber. RoxanneWeber.com. There are invisible great helpers of the race, across unatlased continents of space, from star to star, in answer to some soul's imperious need. They speed, when the earth-loving young are forced to stand upon the border of the unknown land. They come, those angels who have trod the altitudes of God, and to the trembling heart their strength impart. Have you not seen the delicate young maid, filled with the joy of life in her fair dawn, look in the face of death, all unafraid, and smilingly pass on? This is not human strength, not even faith, has such large confidence in such an hour. It is a power supplied by beings who have conquered death, floating from sphere to sphere. They hover near the souls that need the courage they can give. This is no vision of a dreamer's mind. Though we are blind, they live, filling all space, invisible great helpers of the race. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To the Women of Australia by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira Searle. A toast to the splendid daughters of the new world over the waters, a world that is great as new. Daughters of brave old races, daughters of heights and spaces, broad seas and broad earth places, hail to your land and you. The sun and the winds have fed you, the width of your world has led you out into the larger view, strong with a strength that is tender, bright with a primal splendor. Homage and praise we render, hail to your land and you. Sisters and daughters and mothers, standing abreast with your brothers, working for things that are true, thinking and doing and daring, giving, receiving and sharing, earning the crowns you are wearing. Hail to your land and you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Replies by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Shiloh Fusello. Replies. You have lived long and learned the secret of life, O seer. Tell me, what are the best 3 things to seek, the best 3 things for a man to seek on earth? The best 3 things for a man to seek, O son, are these: reverence for that great source from whence he came, work for the world wherein he finds himself, and knowledge of the realm toward which he goes. What are the best 3 things to love on earth, O seer? What are the best 3 things for a man to love? The best 3 things for a man to love, O son, are these: labor which keeps his forces all in action, a home wherein no evil thing may enter, and a loving woman with God in her heart. What are the 3 great sins to shun, O seer? What are the 3 great sins for a man to shun? The 3 great sins for a man to shun, O son, are these: a thought which soils the heart from whence it goes, an action that can harm a living thing, and undeveloped energies of mind. What are the worst 3 things to fear, O seer? What are the worst 3 things for a man to fear? The worst 3 things for a man to fear, O son, are these: doubt and suspicion in a young child's eyes, accusing shame on a woman's face, and in himself no consciousness of God. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Earthbound by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira Searle. New paradise, and groom and bride, the world was all their own. Her heart swelled full of love and pride, yet were they quite alone? Now how is it, oh how is it, and why is it? In fear, all silent to herself she spake, that something strange seems here. Along the garden paths they walked, the moon was at its height, and lover-wise they strolled and talked, but something was not right. And who is that? Now who is that? Oh, who is that? Quoth she. All silent in her heart she spake, that seems to follow me. He drew her closer to his side, she felt his lingering kiss, and yet a shadow seemed to glide between her heart and his. And what is that? Now what is that? Oh, what is that? She said. All silent to herself she spake, that minds me of the dead. They wandered back by beds of bloom, they climbed a winding stair, they crossed the threshold of their room, but something waited there. Now who is this, and what is this, and where is this? She cried. All silent was the cry she made, that comes to haunt and hide. Wide-eyed she lay, the while he slept, she could not name the fear, but something from her bedside crept, just as the dawn drew near. She did not know, she could not know, how could she know, who came to haunt the home of one whose hand had dug her grave of shame. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Successful Man by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Mickey. There was a man who killed a loving maid in some mad mood of passion, and he paid the price upon a scaffold. Now his name stands only as a synonym for shame. There was another man who took to wife a loving woman. She was full of life, of hope and aspirations, and her pride clothed her like some rich mantle. First, the wide glad stream of life that through her veins had sway, he dammed by rocks, cast in it day by day, her flag of hope flung gaily to the world, he placed half-mast and then hauled down and furled. The aspirations breathing in each word by subtle ridicule were made absurd. The delicate fine mantle of her pride, with rude unfeeling hands, was wrenched aside, and by mean avarice or vulgar show, her quivering woman's heart was made to know that she was but a chattel, bought to fill whatever niche might please the buyer's will. So she was murdered, while the slow years went, and her assassin, honored, opulent, lived with no punishment or social ban, a good provider, a successful man. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Unsatisfied by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The bird flies home to its young. The flower folds its leaves about an opening bud. And in my neighbor's house there is the cry of a child. I close my window that I need not hear. She is mine, and she is very beautiful. And in her heart there is no evil thought, there is even love in her heart. Love of life, love of joy, love of this fair world, and love of me, or love of my love for her. Yet she will never consent to bear me a child, and when I speak of it she weeps. Always she weeps, saying, "Do I not bring joy enough into your life? Are you not satisfied with me and my love, as I am satisfied with you? Never would I urge you to some great peril to please my whim, yet ever so you urge me to risk my happiness, yea, life itself, so lightly do you hold me." And then she weeps. Always she weeps, until I kiss away her tears and soothe her with sweet lies, saying I am content. Then she goes singing through the house like some bright bird, preening her wings, making herself all beautiful, perching upon my knee and pecking at my lips with little kisses. So again love's ship goes sailing forth upon a portless sea, from nowhere unto nowhere, and it takes or brings no cargoes to enrich the world. The years are passing by us. We will yet be old, who now are young, and all the man in me cries for the reproduction of myself through her I love. Why, love and youth like ours could populate with gods and goddesses this great green earth, and give the race new types were it made fruitful. Often I can see, as in a vision, desolate old age and loneliness descending on us two. And nowhere in the world, nowhere beyond the earth, fruit of my loins and of her womb to feed our hungry hearts. To me it seems more sorrowful than sitting by small graves and wetting sad-eyed pansies with our tears. The bird flies home to its young. The flower folds its leaves about an opening bud. And in my neighbor's house there is the cry of a child. I close my window that I need not hear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Separation by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org.
He, read by Kevin Keeter.
She, read by Shakira Searle.
1 decade and a half since first we came, with hearts aflame, into love's paradise, as man and mate. And now we separate. Soon, all too soon, waned the white splendor of our honeymoon. We saw it fading, but we did not know how bleak the path would be when once its glow was wholly gone. And yet we too were forced to follow on, leagues, leagues apart, while ever side by side, darker and darker grew the loveless weather, darker the way, until we could not stay longer together. Now that all anger from our hearts has died, and love has flown far from its ruined nest, to find sweet shelter in another breast, let us talk calmly of our past mistakes, and of our faults, if only for the sakes of those with whom our futures will be cast. You shall speak first.
A woman would speak last. Tell me my first grave error as a wife.
Inertia. My young veins were rife with manhood's ardent blood, and love was fire within me. But you met my strong desire with lips like frozen rose leaves, chaste, so chaste, that all your splendid beauty seemed but waste of love's materials. Then of that beauty which had so pleased my sight you seemed to take no care. You felt no duty to keep yourself an object of delight for lovers' eyes and appetite, and indolence soon wrought their devastating changes. You were not the woman I had sworn to love and cherish. If love is starved, what can love do but perish? Now will you speak of my first fatal sin, and all that followed, even as I have done?
I must begin with the young quarter of our honeymoon. You are but one of countless men who take the priceless boon of woman's love and kill it at the start, not wantonly, but blindly. Woman's passion is such a subtle thing, woof of her heart, web of her spirit, and the body's part is to play ever but the lesser role to her white soul. Seized in brute fashion, it fades like down on wings of butterflies, then dies. So my love died. Next, on base Mammon's cross you nailed my pride, making me ask for what was mine by right, until, in my own sight, I seemed a helpless slave, to whom the master gave a grudging dole. Oh, yes, at times gifts showered upon your chattel, but I was not dowered by generous love. Hate never framed a curse, or placed a cruel ban that so crushed woman, as the law of man that makes her pensioner upon his purse. That necessary stuff called gold is such a cold, rude thing, it needs the nicest touch of thought and speech when it approaches love, or it will prove the certain death thereof.
Your words cut deep. 'Tis time we separate.
Well, each goes wiser to a newer mate. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To the Teachers of the Young by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Greg Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. How large thy task, O teacher of the young, to take the ravelled threads by parents flung, with careless hands, and through consummate care, to weave a fabric fine and firm and fair. God's uncompleted work is thine to do. Be brave and true. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Beauty Making by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Methinks there is no greater work in life than making beauty. Can the mind conceive one little corner in celestial realms unbeautiful, or dull, or commonplace? Or picture ugly angels illy clad? Beauty and splendor, opulence and joy, are attributes of God and His domain, and so are worth and virtue. But why preach of virtue only to the sons of men, ignoring beauty till they think it sin? Why, if each dweller on this little globe could know the sacred meaning of that word, and understand its deep significance, men's thoughts would form in beauty, till their dreams of heaven would find expressions in their lives. However humble, they themselves would grow godlike, befitting such a fair estate. Let us be done with what is only good, demanding here and now the beautiful, lest with the mind and eye on earth untrained, we shall be ill at ease when heaven is gained. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On Avon's breast I saw a stately swan, by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. One day when England's June was at its best, I saw a stately and imperious swan floating on Avon's fair untroubled breast. Sudden it seemed as if all strife had gone out of the world, all discord, all unrest. The sorrows and the sinnings of the race faded away like nightmares in the dawn. All heaven was one blue background for the grace of Avon's beautiful, slow-moving swan. And earth held nothing mean or commonplace. Life seemed no longer to be hurrying on with unbecoming haste, but softly trod, as one who reads in emerald leaf, or lawn, or crimson rose, a message straight from God. On Avon's breast I saw a stately swan. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Little Go-Cart by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Mary Ann Weathers. April 2015. It was long, long ago that a soul like a flower unfolded and blossomed and passed in an hour. It was long, long ago, and the memory seems like the pleasures and sorrows that come in our dreams. The kind years have crowned me with many a joy since the going away of my wee little boy. Each one as it passed had me stooped with a kiss and left some delight, knowing one thing I miss. But when in the park or the street all elate I see a baby in his carriage of state, as proud as a king in his little go-cart, I feel all the mother love stir in my heart, and I seem to be back in that long-vanished May. And the baby, who came but to hurry away in the little white hearse, is not dead, but alive, and out in his little go-cart for a drive. I whisper a prayer as he rides down the street, and my thoughts follow after him, tender and sweet. For I know, by a law that is vast and divine, though I know not his name, that the baby is mine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. I Am Running Forth to Meet You by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Mary Ann Weathers. April 2015. I am running forth to meet you, O my master, for they tell me you are surely on the way. Yes, they tell me you are coming back again, while I run, and I wish my feet were winged to speed on faster, and I wish I might behold you here today, Lord of men. I am running, yet I walk beside my neighbor, and I take the duties given me to do. Yes, I take the daily duties as they fall, while I run. And my heart runs to my hand, and helps the labor, for I think this is the way that leads to you, Lord of all. I am running, yet I turn from toil and duty, oftentimes to just the art of being glad. Yes, to just the joys that make the earth world bright, while I run. For the soul that worships God must worship beauty, and the heart that thinks of you cannot be sad, Lord of light. I am running, yet I pause to greet my brother, and I lean to rid my garden of its weed. Yes, I lean, although I lift my thoughts above, while I run. And I think of that command, love one another, as I hear discordant sounds of creed with creed. Lord of love. I am running, and the road is lit with splendor, and it brightens and shines fairer with each span. Yes, it brightens, like the highway in a dream, while I run. And my heart to all the world grows very tender, for I seem to see the Christ in every man, Lord supreme. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Martyrs of Peace by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira Searle. Fame writes ever its song and story for heroes of war in letters of glory. But where is the story and where is the song for the heroes of peace and the martyrs of wrong? They fight their battles in shop and mine, they die at their posts and make no sign. They herd like beasts in a slaughter pen, they live like cattle and die like men. Why, set by the horrors of such a life, like a merry-go-round seems the battle's strife, and the open sea, and the open boat, and the deadly cannon with bellowing throat. Oh, what are they all, with death thrown in, to the life that has nothing to lose or win, the life that has nothing to hope or gain but ill-paid labour and beds of pain. Fame, where is your story, and where is your song for the martyrs of peace and the victims of wrong? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Home by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The greatest words are always solitaires, set singly in one syllable, like birth, life, love, hope, peace. I sing the worth of that dear word toward which the whole world fares. I sing of home. To make a home we should talk all of love, and much of labor, patience, and keen joy. Then mix the elements of earth's alloy with finer things drawn from the realms above, the spirit home. There should be music, melody, and song, beauty in every spot, an open door, and generous sharing of the pleasure store with fellow pilgrims as they pass along, seeking for home. Make ample room for silent friends, the books that give so much and only ask for space, nor let utility crowd out the vase, which has no use save gracing by its looks the precious home. To narrow bounds let mirrors lend their aid, and multiply each gracious touch of art, and let the casual stranger feel the part, the great creative part, that love has played within the home. Here bring your best in thought and word and deed, your sweetest acts, your highest self-control, nor save them for some later hour and goal. Here is the place, and now the time of need, here in your home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Eternal Now by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Mickey. Time, with his back against the mighty wall, which hides from view all future joy and sorrow, hears without answer the impatient call of puny man to tell him of tomorrow. Moral, be wise, and to the silence bow, these useless and unquiet ways forsaking, concern thyself with the eternal now. Today, hold all things ready for thy taking. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
If I Were a Man, a Young Man by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, read for LibriVox.org by Corinca. If I were a man, a young man, and knew what I know today, I would look in the eyes of life undaunted by any fate that might threaten me. I would give to the world what the world most wanted: manhood that knows it can do and be, courage that dares, and faith that can see clear into the depths of the human soul and find God there and the ultimate goal. If I were a man, a young man, and knew what I know today. If I were a man, a young man, and knew what I know today, I would think of myself as the masterful creature of all the masterful plan, the formless cause with form and feature, the power that heeds not limit or ban. Man, wonderful man. I would do good deeds and forget them straightway. I would weave my vows into ropes and climb up to the heights of the Helper's gateway. And life should serve me, and time, and I would sail out and find the treasures that lie in the deep sea, mind. I would dream and think and act. I would work and love and pray, till each dream and vision grew into a fact. If I were a man, a young man, and knew what I know today. If I were a man, a young man, and knew what I know today, I would guard my passions as kings guard treasures, and keep them high and clean. For the will of a man, with his passions measures, it is strong as they are keen. I would think of each woman as someone's mother. I would think of each man as my own blood brother, and speed him along on his way. And the glory of life in this wonderful hour should fill me and thrill me with conscious power. If I were a man, a young man, and knew what I know today. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
We Must Send Them Out to Play by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by William George. We must send them out to play. Now much there is need of doing must not be done in haste, but slowly and with patience, as a jungle is changed to a town. But listen, my brothers, listen. It is not always so. When a murderer's hand is lifted to kill, there is no time to waste. And the way to change his purpose is first to knock him down and teach him the law of kindness after you give him the blow. The acorn you plant in the morning will not give shade at noon, and the thornless cactus must be bred by year on year of toil. But listen, my brothers, listen. It is not ever the way, for the roots of the poison ivy plant you cannot pull too soon. If you would better your garden and make the most of your soil, hurry and dig up the evil things, and cast them out today. The ancient sin of the nations no law can ever efface. We must wait for the mothers of men to grow and give clean souls to their sons. But listen, my brothers, listen. When a child cries out in pain, we must rise from the banquet board and go, though the host is saying grace. We must rise and find the Herod of greed who is killing our little ones, nor ever go back to the banquet until the monster is slain. The strong man waits for justice with lifted soul and eyes, as a sturdy oak will face the storm, and does not break or bow. But listen, my brothers, listen. The child is a child for a day. If a merciless foot treads down each shoot, how can the forest rise? We are robbing the race when we rob a child. We must rescue the children now. We must rescue the little slaves of greed and send them out to play. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Protest by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Anna Lynn. To sit in silence when we should protest makes cowards out of men. The human race has climbed on protest. Had no voice been raised against injustice, ignorance, and lust, the Inquisition yet would serve the law, and guillotines decide our least disputes. The few who dare must speak and speak again to right the wrongs of many. Speech, thank God, no vested power in this great day and land can gag or throttle. Press and voice may cry loud disapproval of existing ills, may criticize oppression and condemn the lawlessness of wealth-protecting laws that let children and childbearers toil to purchase ease for idle millionaires. Therefore do I protest against the boast of independence in this mighty land. Call no chain strong which holds one wrested link, call no land free that holds one fettered slave, until the manacled, slim wrists of babes are loosed to toss in childish sport and glee, until the mother bears no burden save the precious one beneath her heart, until God's soil is rescued from the clutch of greed and given back to labor. Let no man call this the land of freedom. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Reward by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira Searle. Fate used me meanly, but I looked at her and laughed, that none might know how bitter was the cup I quaffed. Along came Joy and paused beside me where I sat, saying, I came to see what you were laughing at. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.